Today, we're bringing back an old episode that still feels relevant, especially for photographers who've been questioning whether the path they're on still fits. In this episode, Megan sits down with Nicole Weeks to talk about her transition from photographing big weddings for nearly a decade to building a business around elopements instead. They get into what led to that shift, the fear and uncertainty that came along with making a big change, and what happened when Nicole decided to finally go all in. If you've been feeling pulled towards something different in your own business, we think this one will really resonate. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Stoked, the podcast that helps adventure elopement photographers hit six figures and beyond in their businesses without hustling on social media. I'm your host, Megan McPhail, a former burnt-out emergency veterinarian that quit my hard-earned career to become an elopement photographer. Now I'm living a life I absolutely love, full of travel, adventure, and financial abundance, and I am hell-bent on helping you do the same. Are you ready to start booking out your calendar with dream couples in breathtaking locations and feeling genuinely stoked about your elopement photography business, life, and bank account? Then let's dive into this week's episode. Hey, it's your host, Megan McPhail, and I have a super fun guest today. We have Nicole Weeks, who is an elopement photographer based in upstate New York, and I love her story, and we are here to share it with you to inspire others to go after their dreams, just like Nicole did. Welcome to the podcast, Nicole.
Hi, Megan. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have you here and share your story because I just love your story so much because we've been Instagram friends since like 2018.
Such a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. That's like 7 years ago now.
Yes.
That's
forever.
crazy. So why don't you share, how did we become Instagram friends in 2018?
Gosh, that's a great question. I don't even remember exactly how it happened. I think I just came across your work one day, just probably from scrolling, and your images made me stop. I'm like, what is this? And I clicked on your profile and I just was like, oh, wow, I don't know what's going on here, but these are like the most beautiful images I've ever seen. And I think I even messaged you like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, your work is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from then on, I never stopped following you.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were just kind of Instagram buddies and would message back and forth. And you were shooting primarily weddings and second shooting gigs.
Yes, that's what I did for almost a whole decade, was the big, lavish, luxurious weddings. Obviously, some for myself and my own clients, but I second shot a ton as well, all over New York and New England. And even I've done a couple out in Colorado and Louisiana and Florida. So kind of traveled all over.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think where your story really gets interesting is the fact that you were kind of pining over shooting elopements for years and years and years.
Probably since 2018 when I found it. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it looks really fun.
Yeah, totally. And so it's been in the back of your mind that it's something that you wanted to do, but you really didn't pursue it until 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 5 years of wanting to do something and being nervous about it, right?
I think it was just the fear of the unknown. I had no idea really what an elopement was. And I was so used to shooting these big weddings and going through that whole process that she's like, well, this is what I know, so I should probably stick with it. But something just doesn't feel right. And I couldn't figure out what that was until some interesting weddings. And it really made me think, oh, this is not the route that I want to keep going forward on.
Yeah. So you kind of fell out of love with wedding photography.
I did.
What happened? Why did that happen?
I feel like there were some things that happened over the course of, the 8 to 10 years of me shooting them, that there was things if it rained on one of my couple's wedding days, some people were cool with it and others it ruined the day for them. And, maybe their flowers weren't exactly what they wanted. And to me, they were beautiful.
Yeah.
But to them, of course, they paid tons of money for these things and their day just didn't go how they wanted to. And I just had to remind them, you're getting married to your partner today. Don't forget that. That's why we're here. And some people just couldn't get over that fact. And I think that in itself really bothered me because they forgot what they were doing that day. And I'm like, this is supposed to be the best day of your life. All of these things don't matter. You're getting married. And so I think it lost its shine a little bit.
Yeah. And it kind of like was not agreeing with your values anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not someone who values things. Yeah, great quality stuff is super important, but I'm a huge, advocate for like spending quality time with the people that you love.
hmm
You don't get to do that on your wedding day. Like you're throwing a party for other people. You don't even get to see your partner because you're being pulled in all these different directions. And I was like, something about this isn't right. And it didn't work for me anymore.
Yeah. Was there anything that like really catalyzed the day that you were like, I'm done with weddings?
Yeah. So I had the opportunity to be able to teach my best friend how to second shoot with me, which was a blast because we live, 2.5, 3 hours away from each other.
hmm
And so I had booked a wedding on her birthday and it was not fun. There were so many things that went wrong on that day. The groomsmen were they just were unkind and rude and didn't listen to us, and different things happened. And, then my car wouldn't start at the end of the night. And it was just an explosion of bad things, and none of which we could have prevented. It just kind of was what it was. And we were miserable. We were both like, we cannot wait to get out of here. And I think I remember talking to her on the way home that night, and I was like, I am not booking another wedding after this one. Like, I'm done. You should leave a wedding on a high. Like, oh, that was so much fun. I loved this experience. The couple was great. And that was not our feelings. We were like, I'm good if the rest of our couples cancel on us for the rest of the year. Like, we're done.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big sign. Like, you don't want to be shooting weddings for people while hating the experience. That's not good for your mental health. And that's not good for the couples. You want them to be booking photographers that are excited to shoot their wedding, right?
And we realized that too. I remember saying to her, I just feel like I'm doing my couples a disservice because I'm not as excited as I used to be to show up and photograph them. And I was like, that's not fair to them. And I don't want to continue doing it because there are other people who love weddings and they're super excited. And they do end of the day on like that super fun high of just photographing all these beautiful pictures. And I'm like, I just can't do it anymore. It just doesn't feel right.
Right. Yeah. And not to mention, you had given up a lot of your weekends for a decade, pretty much, to shoot all these weddings.
That I think was also something that had always been in the back of my mind. I didn't get to go on a lot of family vacations or, I missed out on some family reunions, and my best friend got married and I didn't get to go with her to find her wedding dress or nieces and nephews' birthdays. And I'm like, this is not who I am as a person to miss out on these really big things. Not that I like have FOMO because like I'll be all right, but I wanted to be there to support my family and friends and make those memories with them. And I feel like I lost a decade of doing that. Not that I regret it, because I feel like all of the things that happened obviously led me to this point, but I wasn't going to continue to do that going forward.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to all the things that you're saying. I feel like I went through a lot of that stuff too when I was like really getting rid of weddings from my schedule. So let's fast forward to 2023, and you join me finally in Iceland for one of my workshops, and you get to finally see what elopements look like. What was that experience like for you?
It was indescribable. I just remember, I was traveling to a different country by myself. I didn't know a single person. Like, I kind of knew who you were, but obviously you were in person. I'm like, this is like the craziest thing I probably have ever done. But I remember waking up the first morning and the couple, they were getting ready at the Airbnb and we were doing all this stuff. And then we got to go out into these epic locations and just to see the process of like, this is what any elopement could look like. I just was baffled. I'm like, oh, what have I been doing for the last 10 years? Like, this is exactly what I want to do. It was the coolest experience.
Yeah, I remember you in Iceland being like, as we're shooting these like 3 big elopements, and you're like, well, what would like a real elopement look like? And I'm like, it's just this. Like, this is exactly how my elopements go. This is how I would manage them. This is how I make sure my couples are having fun. And we did. We had a freaking blast, and we finally got to meet in person. That trip was so fun.
I feel like I floated through like Iceland. I was just like, this is amazing. It was truly like such an eye-opening experience too, to be able to really experience that and have the, knowledge of what it entails and to be like, oh, I can do this. This is fantastic. So I think just being able to gain that experience of doing one, whether they were styled shoots or second shooting at an elopement or assisting somebody or whatever, like that changed a lot for me as well.
Yeah. And that's when you've pretty much decided you're going to join us in the Elopement Photographer Mastermind and you're going to freaking go for it.
Yeah. I think it was like 2 months after, I had obviously just made the investment to go to the workshop in Iceland. And then I was about to make another big investment into the mastermind. And I was like, if I don't do this, I am so dumb. Like, clearly the investment with Megan, the first time I had just gained so much from that why would I not do it again to really get like, the meat and potatoes, as people say, to like get, from point A to point B and have like a booked out calendar and really just end up with this dream life that I had dreamed of.
Yeah. But you were hesitant. Let's talk about why you were hesitant to still join, even though we had been Instagram friends for like 5 years at this point, and you're still hesitant to join. And this is really normal for people. So we should talk about it.
Yeah. Gosh, if I could go back and just kick myself about 5 years ago. So we were supposed to go to Iceland together in 2020. For obvious reasons, we couldn't do that. So I just kind of kept going forward on this wedding path. And I had made an investment into another mastermind and, paid for a bunch of courses online that weren't even elopement specific. They're just for a bunch of different things. And I didn't necessarily get a lot out of those masterminds. And I was like, I cannot spend another, however many thousands of dollars to do this. I've invested a lot and have not gotten a lot back. And so that was really hard for me to do. But I think just going on, and having that first experience with you and then seeing all of these results that all of these other members were getting and being able to talk to another member of the mastermind who actually went to Iceland too, she was just like, I don't know what you're doing, not signing up for it. Like, you should have done this yesterday. Like, just do it. Don't even think twice. Pay Megan all of your money and like, it will change your life. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I did. And it did. Like, what a crazy time in my life to just totally flip everything on its head.
Yeah, you did. You totally did. You literally like, I'm not shooting weddings anymore and I'm making elopements work. Dang it, I'm doing it. And it took you a while to get to that point. But then once that switch was flipped, you hit the ground running.
I was full on sprinting through this thing. I was like, because I had started to say no to inquiries that were coming in for weddings for that upcoming year. And I was a little scared, to be honest, because I was like, I know my income might take a hit this year, but I cannot move forward with booking all these weddings because that's going to take away from the elopements. And I was like, I'm going all in. And I'm saying no was like my favorite word that year. It was so scary, but I was just like, I'm unavailable. I'm unavailable. And I was just like, I cannot believe I'm doing this, but I did.
Yeah.
And, I had a few weddings that I had already booked. I think this was last year, so 2024. And I think I had 8 elopements that I booked that year, which to me blew my mind because I had just started. I really didn't have any experience except for that Iceland, adventure, but it worked.
Yeah. And so let's talk about the first elopement that you booked, because you booked this elopement having never shot an elopement before, only going to Iceland with me and kind of like seeing behind the scenes a little bit. So you're going through the mastermind and then you finally get that first booking. Tell us all about that.
That was a wild experience because I truly had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I was like, yes, it's going to be great. I showed up to that consult call. Like I had photographed hundreds of elopements. I was like, I'm going to go to all of these places. We're going to do this and that. And the couple was awesome. And I ended that call and I was just like, oh God, like I just promised them all of these things and I actually don't really know what to do. So I, built out their timeline and they want to do a sunrise hike. I have never once in my life hiked in the dark, but we were getting up at 3:00 in the morning and we are doing this. And the
Yeah.
whole time I'm just like, Nicole, be confident. You got this. Like,
Yeah.
just do what you know. We talked throughout the timeline and what we were going to do. And I remember leaving them at the end of the night. And I think I called my fiance, my best friend, and my parents. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you guys, I just had the best day ever. This couple was amazing. Like, I just kind of exploded with excitement because it was like I finally found the thing. Like I have been searching for this feeling for so long in my career and I finally found it and I couldn't believe it.
I have exciting news. If you're ready to go all in on your dream elopement photography business, this is for you. Whether you're pivoting into elopements or you're already booking elopements but no business could be better, the Elopement Photographer Mastermind is officially open for applications. This is not just another course that leaves you guessing and collecting dust in your inbox. It's a fully immersive coaching experience with a proven roadmap that takes the guesswork out of scaling your business. You'll skip the wasted time, avoid the trial and error, and start seeing real results. We've helped photographers hit six figures, triple their prices, and book out their calendars and dream destinations, all without relying on social media hustle. And for those who follow the roadmap, our success rate is nearly 100%. Inside the Elopement Photographer Mastermind, you'll get unlimited coaching, personalized feedback, website audits, and direct access to a team of 8 industry experts. So you always know your next move from marketing to pricing to elopement planning. Spots are limited, so apply now. It's free to apply, and we'll see if this is the right next step for you. Head to meganmcphail.com/mastermind to apply today. That's so amazing. So what gave you the confidence to get on that sales call and sell your services and plan this elopement? We gave you the tools to do it, right? Is that what made the difference with your confidence in getting on that sales call and being like, I'm planning your elopement. It's going to be amazing when you've never done it before?
I think, the tools that you gave are priceless. The tools that you gave are priceless to me because it gave you the steps and the outlines. And it was like, here are the questions that you should ask. And just having those specific questions, I was like, okay, well, this will guide our entire conversation. And then I got to connect with a couple, on a personal level with just, I think one of the questions is like, tell me about you and your fiance. What do you guys like to do? They're like, oh, we like to do all these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, me too. I did this or whatever. And it was just like the different ways to relate to them, which made a huge difference to me. And it's just a conversation, right? Like if they didn't book me at the end of the day, it was okay. Like there were more inquiries that I was getting at that time. So I was like, practice makes perfect. Like I got to put myself out there and just do it. Was I nervous? Yeah, absolutely. I wish I videotaped myself so I could go back and listen to it and be like, oh my God, you sound so dumb. But they did enough to end up booking me for an 8-hour elopement for $5,000. And I remember them responding to the email and signing the contract. I was beside myself. I'm like, I cannot believe they paid me to do this. And I've never shot one in my life, but it's going to be great.
Yeah. So you booked 8 in 2024, I think, right?
Yes,
last year.
Correct.
And then this year, how many do you have booked?
So I have 11 booked so far and then 2 for 2026.
Amazing. And these are mostly in upstate New York, right?
All of them are, except for one multi-day elopement that I booked in Florida for 2026, which is my second target location. And I am just so excited for that one.
That's so cool. Yeah, I remember when you went down, you're like, I'm doing New York, but I'm also doing Florida. And you went down and you executed your little strategy. And And it's
Yeah.
like perfect. And that was one of your biggest bookings ever, right? For the Florida one next year?
It was my second biggest. So that one is a multi-day elopement. So they booked me for 12 hours for $8,000, which I'm
Amazing.
still like, this is incredible. And the couple, I just am in love with them. Like, I'm so excited for it. But I think the biggest one that I booked for this year was $8,300. 12-hour elopement, multi-day. They added on an engagement session. So we're going to do like something fun in the Adirondacks that's like more casual. And then they're doing like a celebration later. So it was just, they are also super fun people that I'm like so beyond thrilled to work with.
Oh, I love that. So what does life look like for you right now? How is it different than when you were a decade-long wedding photographer?
It's kind of crazy to think about it because I remember in the month of January, I've never made so much money in January in my whole life. I mean, that is like very slow season for me. And I usually have like a savings account that says winter on it. And that's like how
Yeah.
I pay my bills in the winter. But I booked, 4 or 5 elopements in January for this upcoming year. And it was almost comical what was happening because my fiance would come home from work and I'm standing in the kitchen like, I just booked another one, or I have another inquiry or consultation tomorrow. And he's like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't know, but this is something happened. And this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Oh my gosh. I have like goosebumps listening to all this. This is just what I live for.
It was like the most wild experience ever to just be like, holy shit, things are working. Like, I put in so much time and effort into like getting things to where they should be, whether it's my website or SEO. I mean, so many of my couples are like, you showed up everywhere. We searched for this and that, and your name kept coming up. Like, whatever you're
Yeah.
doing, it's working, which
Mhm.
that was a huge thing for me to hear, to be like,
Yeah.
what you did worked. But life is good. I mean, I did a crazy thing and booked a 2-week European cruise with my best friend and her family in the busiest time of year, like September and October. And, I've had plenty of inquiries for that time. And I'm super honest with people like, hey guys, like I'm going to be in Europe for 2 weeks, but I have
Yeah.
other dates available if you're flexible. And the response from that has been outstanding. They're like, oh my gosh, have a blast in Europe. We can do this other day. I'm like, great. Whereas a normal wedding, they're just like, well, we can't because things are locked in. Like, no, we want to work with you. We'll get married in, I don't know, July if we have to. Like,
Yeah.
what?
That's
That's awesome.
amazing. That's so amazing. I mean, that's the dream. That's like the literal dream right there is having people book things around your schedule so you can enjoy time with your family and friends and vacation and relax. And, I remember you telling me, I mean, kind of going back to when you first joined the mastermind, you hit the ground running, you did all of the work. But now, how much are you working right now?
I almost want to say it's embarrassing to say, but I'm also really proud of it. I only work like a couple hours a day. Some days I like take a peek in my email. I'm like, okay, I don't need to respond to anything right now. It's fine. And I can just do whatever I want to do that day. And it's wild to think about because I used to be like, I don't have a lot to do, but I feel like I should be doing something, but I'm not. But I've made $10,000 this month. So I think what I'm doing is okay.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird battle until like you get used to it where you're like, I feel like I should be doing something. But I actually like I've projected to make more money this coming year than I did last year. And it's the middle of March. I'm good to work an hour and a half a day. Like,
Yeah.
that's okay. And
Yeah.
it is definitely a weird feeling, but I mean, things are working and there's no need to change it if it's working exactly how it should.
Yeah, I love that. And that is totally the goal. Like put in a season of hustle, get the stuff together so that it works, like put the puzzle pieces together so they snap together, things start working, and then you get to relax and book things and make money and in the off season just kind of chill.
Yeah, which is, I've never experienced that before. With big weddings, I'm like hustling all the time trying to get clients to book me. And these people are just like appearing. They're like, we would love to work with you. Like, when are you free? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is awesome.
Ugh, I just love that for you so much. And the fact that you're in upstate New York, which isn't like some people think they need to live in like Utah or something to be a successful elopement photographer, but people are eloping all over the place. And like the East Coast is a big elopement location now. And that's amazing for you guys. But you still get to travel and do Florida. Hopefully you'll book an Iceland one someday, right?
Yes.
And you get to hang with your hubby, or well, actually your fiance. You're
Almost
getting
hubby.
married? Yeah, almost hubby. And yeah, life is good. So I've just had goosebumps this whole time. Okay, so in the Elopement Photographer Mastermind, what allowed you to accomplish all of this stuff in there?
I think it was one, just the motivation that I had to figure out how to make something work because I said no to all these inquiries. I was like, well, this has got to work because I need to make an income as well. So I think that, just having the motivation within yourself to put the work in is part of it. But, the roadmap that you have laid out that's so simple to follow is amazing. I mean, every step of the way, there are these checks and balances where, we have an assignment. Obviously, the quicker that you do that assignment, the quicker you're going to get results from it and you can move on to the next step. But there is like tons of support within the mastermind too, which is not anything that I experienced before. So whether it was you answering our questions, the other support coaches, and just the other members and, talking to them and seeing where they're at in the process and reading their hangups or struggles or worries. And then just seeing everyone like, please stop worrying. Like, you got this. It's all good. You're doing the right things. And there's just so many tools and resources within the mastermind. I mean, you said it before, like you're an open book, and you really are. You don't hold anything back, which is something that is invaluable to me. And I'm sure every other mastermind member out there.
Aw, I love hearing that. Was there ever a point in the mastermind where you're like, oh my God, I don't know if this is working? Or did it just start working really well for you? Because I see both happen. So I'm wondering what's your story?
I think, you had just mentioned that upstate New York isn't necessarily one of the more popular locations. So I think that maybe had a little bit something to do with it in the beginning, where right out of the gate, I was like, I'm going to book 16 elopements this year. And I
Mhm.
booked half of that. So that in itself, I was like, oh, that was a little bit of a bummer, but I still had other weddings that I had to shoot. So maybe it was the universe saying, you can't handle this right now, but here's 8.
Yeah.
Get some experience and next
Yeah.
year we'll take off. So I think it was like a little bit slow to begin with. And there were, worries for sure. Like, am I doing everything right? When is this going to turn and explode? Like, I know that it's going to, but I kept being consistent in the things that I was doing. And I think that was a huge turning point in itself, where I was like, just be consistent. I blogged once a week for an entire year. My SEO went through the roof. I know it was a lot, but I was like, I've got to make it work. So
Yeah.
I just blogged about everything that I possibly could. And engagement season came around and I had 25 inquiries in January,
Dang.
which is like mind blowing to me.
That's also like a mixed blessing too, to get
It
that.
totally was. It totally was. But a bunch of people ghosted as they normally would. So I think that too is like, okay, like I know half of these people probably are never even going to respond to me, but I was able to book, I think, at least 4 or 5 of them. And to me, that was huge in one of the slowest seasons that I have.
Yeah, and I think that, your explanation, like, about trusting the process, staying consistent, because there's always this part that I call the messy middle where you've done a lot of the work and then you're just waiting for the inquiries and bookings to come in. And that's normally like a couple month-long period or something. And that's when people start to get really, really nervous. And you
Yes.
continued through, and then the momentum has built. The like snowball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's like you're killing it this year. You're like totally killing it.
Yeah, smooth sailing. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is great. I have 9 more elopements that I want to book for this year. And one of the tools is that awesome Excel sheet that your amazing husband built for us.
Yeah.
And just to be able to look at like when different people had booked me last year, I was like, oh, it wasn't until the middle of the year that I didn't get half of my booking. So if I'm already halfway booked and it's the middle of March, I'm fine. Everything will be fine. And I think using those tools well after, graduating from the mastermind is super important as well. And I feel like a lot of times people are like, well, I'm done with the course. Like, I won't do this anymore.
Yeah.
The more you use those tools, the better you're able to like analyze all of this data and take a deep breath or change things if you need to. So those are super helpful.
I love hearing that. I love hearing the data.
I know.
Like sometimes we have to fight with people to start looking at their data, but once you do, it's powerful. And yeah, you can see instead of worrying, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be totally fine this year. You can totally book 9 more elopements. Easy peasy, right? So that's amazing. Oh, I just love your story so much. And I hope everybody listening is feeling inspired and probably can relate to a lot of what you've talked about, Nicole. And I just think you're so inspiring. It took you a little while, but you finally went after it. You finally went after your dreams. Now you're experiencing it in real time. And I get such happy DMs from you all the time, which I love. Where can people find you on like Instagram and your website and stuff so that they can take a look at what you're up to?
Yeah. So my website is NicoleWeeksPhotography.com. And it's the same handle on Facebook and Instagram as well, at Nicole Weeks Photography. I don't spend a ton of time on social media because a wise woman said it's really not that important. But I do try to post every now and then.
I love that. Cool. And if you could give any advice to the photographers out there who are on the fence about elopements, what would you tell them?
Go for it and go all in. As long as you do that and you are excited about it and have the motivation and are willing to put in the work, go for it because the return on investment is huge and it'll totally change your life.
I love that. Yay. Thank you so much, Nicole. It
You're
was
welcome.
so good
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this was so fun. I can't wait to see more of your wins and see what you're up to with your elopements in upstate New York and Florida. And I'm sure I will chat you up later. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's episode of Stoked. If you enjoyed the show and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend. If you're looking for more inspiring elopement photography content, check us out on Instagram at Megan McPhail. And if you'd like to hear more about my business coaching and how I can personally help you hit 6 figures as an elopement photographer, then check out my website at www.meganmcphail.com.